Yo, what's going on guys, Arekkz here and welcome back to another For Honor character guide. You showed the last one some great support. If you guys haven't seen it, you can find that link down below. That is a complete guide for the Peacekeeper, but more importantly, you said you would be keen to see more. So here we are. And in this video, seeing as I now have the full game, I thought we'd turn our attention to one of the characters that was not in the beta, Shugoki. As always, if you do enjoy this video and you do find it helpful, then a like would be super appreciated. Comment down below and let me know what you think, and also let me know who you would like me to cover next. So to begin with, Shugoki belongs to the Samurai faction. He is a disruptor tank and is also one of the easier characters to use. The idea behind this character is that you can take a lot of damage due to your rather large health pool, whilst also dishing out very high damage in the process. The downside, however, is that you're slow. Really slow, which of course means that when people begin to get used to fighting against you, it'll be quite easy for some of the more nimble characters to avoid your incoming attacks. Now before we dive into the moves, let's talk quickly about your passive, because this is very important. You have what is known as an uninterruptible stance. This is active at all times, and what it means is that the first time you are hit by an enemy's attack, it won't interrupt whatever you are doing. So if you're performing a heavy swing, for example, being hit will not cancel that. However, after the first hit or a guard break, this stance is temporarily consumed, meaning further hits will interrupt you, and more importantly, when you lose this stance, you also take more damage. So effectively, if you're playing as this character, any hits you take after your first hit will be considerably more potent than the first. However, the stance will regenerate passively after a few seconds, but it will of course take longer to come back if you are A, out of stamina, B, being hit, or C, blocking. This stance is very important for Shugoki because it means that when you are performing some of your more powerful, heavy hitting moves that have slow startup animations, more often than not, it'll allow you to follow through with the attack even after you're hit. Hence the reason for him being able to both take damage and dish it out at the same time. Now let's take a look at his moves. Up first you have your charging heavy attack. Quite simply, whilst in guard mode, if you hold down your heavy attack button, I'm using a controller so that's RT for me, then you'll perform this very slow but very powerful swing, which is also an unblockable. It consumes a lot of stamina, so use it wisely, but it also hits very hard. And this is a prime example of where your uninterruptible stance comes in handy. You can afford to get in close, begin the wind up for this, knowing that if your opponent attempts to hit you and cancel the attack, chances are they'll only land one hit before you complete the animation, meaning you will still land the attack, which is pretty handy. After that you have Bash and Smash, one of your two basic chain combos. This one is simply light attack followed by heavy attack, so RBRT. It is however worth noting that Shugoki has enhanced light attacks, meaning that they aren't interrupted even on block. So if the first light attack is blocked, whilst most other characters would simply have to start their combo over again, Shugoki can carry on as if nothing has happened, meaning you can then follow through into the second heavy hit for a chance to break the opponent's guard or just land the hit. After that you have Bonecrusher. This is your other chain attack performed with two consecutive heavy attacks, RT-RT. Pretty simple, but again deals a lot of damage. To be honest, any of Shugoki's hits deal pretty hefty damage, so if you get hit, it's going to hurt. After that you have Crashing Thunder. This can be one of your openers. Whilst not in guard mode, you sprint towards your opponent with the left stick, and you press right trigger to perform this wide swing, or heavy attack. Again, pretty powerful, and it hits wide, so it's quite easy to catch people with this one. Alternatively, you have Charge of the Oni. This is an unblockable charge where you run at your enemy, and if you hit them, it'll knock them down. It doesn't actually deal damage, so it's used either as an easy way to knock people off a ledge, or more importantly, if you are playing, say, in multiplayer, maybe duels or 4v4s or Dominion, your team are down and you either need to get to them, or just get away from the enemy that are maybe grouping up on you, then you can charge through them and knock people over in turn, giving you a bit more time. After all, you're not fast, so you won't exactly be outrunning anyone otherwise. You can also cancel this with B, so if you do successfully run someone over, pressing B will then allow you to refocus on them and attack them on the ground before they get a chance to recover. Moving on from there, you then have Demon's Embrace. Whilst in guard mode, pulling back and pressing X will see you lunge forward slightly and grab the opponent. Once you grab them, you not only deal a portion of damage, but you also regain some health. It is however very easy to read, so people can quite easily sidestep it. However, there is more to this move than simply damage and healing. See, if you're in the critical stance, which is where you've taken a lot of damage and you are flashing red, if you land a Demon's Embrace whilst in this stance, it'll be a guaranteed kill no matter how much health your opponent has. So even if they are on full health, if you successfully embrace them whilst in critical stance, they're dead. and of course you get health back after, so then it means you're back in the fight too. So it goes without saying that if you're on the kind of receiving end and you're fighting a Shugoki near to death, be very, very careful, because otherwise it's quite easy for them to turn the tide in battle. Also, something else useful, you can cancel a heavy attack into a Demon's Embrace by inputting the Demon's Embrace command at the very start of a heavy attack. It has to be at the beginning though, so if you leave it too late, it won't work. This is of course good for faking out your opponent, in turn giving you another chance to grab them. After that, you have Demon Ball. For this attack, you press right trigger or heavy attack following a guard break, and you perform this golf swing and knock the opponent flying. This can of course knock people off the edge if they're positioned in the right or perhaps wrong place, but it's also just a good way to get people away from you, and again, it does some pretty nice damage. Also, something else to factor into your combos is Headbutt. Following either a light or heavy attack, you can press X to headbutt your opponent. This will put them in the disorient status temporarily, which either gives you a great opportunity to follow up with a Demon's Embrace, or just attack them before they know where the hit is coming from. And then finally, if you are being grouped up on, you can of course perform your zone attack by pressing light and heavy together, or RB and RT. This results in a double swing, which has great reach, but if for some reason you need to cancel it, you can press B to do so, stopping it after the first swing. So, those are your moves, but how exactly do you play Shugoki? Well, you actually have a number of different options really. He's such an intimidating opponent that you can quite easily go on the offensive and play ultra aggressive and just rush people down. The last thing you want is to be fighting a Shugoki whilst pinned in a corner. His heavy hitting damage paired with his wide hit radius means you'll likely end up dead. Plus, if an opponent is backed up into a corner, then they'll also be a lot easier to grab with Demon's Embrace. However, when you consider that you are also a walking tank with a boatload of health, you can also play it defensively. You have a very strong block, and thanks to your uninterruptible stance, you also have plenty of opportunities to simply take a hit and then make a comeback. So really, it'll heavily depend on your encounter and your own personal playstyle. But that, my friends, is pretty much it. That was your guide to Shugoki. Hopefully you guys found it useful. Again, if you did, then a like would be super appreciated. And comment down below if you have any questions. And also let me know who you would like me to cover next. Thank you very much for watching. Take it easy. Catch you next time. Peace out.